Do you want to try curry hunting but have no idea where to start? Or do you feel like your curries are just not up to scratch? Are you starting to feel discouraged about ever finding a shiny fruit curry? Well, you've come to the right place. My name's Hazelnut, and I'll be teaching you how to efficiently and effectively shiny hunt curry mark Pokemon. Now, don't get me wrong, RNG plays quite a role in getting curry encounters. However, by following this tutorial, you will be maxing out your chances. Firstly is the setup. This is a bit of a process depending on how you want to do it, but once it's done, you don't have to do it again. It is recommended to have completed the game, however, it is not required. Advantages of completing the game include area access and more watts found in raid dens. You will also want to make sure you have a healthy supply of either Pokeballs, Great Balls or Ultra Balls, as these encounters cannot occur without them in your bag. This also means that these are the only balls the curry mark Pokemon can go in. Next, you will want to collect your berries. Berries are sorted by rarity, so I will be showing you the best places to harvest the best berries in the wild area, and you will also want to buy a decent supply of what I call filler berries. These berries are the only ones that can be bought, but are the most common. I recommend just buying one type, as flavor does not matter in making Charizard class curries. If you have access to Hammerlock Hills, my favourite berry tree is the one at Lake of Outrage. This is because it's right next to a raid den and it contains 5 different rare berries. To get the most of your berry tree, you will want to shake the tree until it starts shaking faster than usual, so you don't risk losing berries to a wild encounter Pokemon. You can then do the raid date skip method to keep farming off this tree without having to wait a full day. If you don't have access to a water bike or would rather a faster spot to obtain berries, head to Bridgefield and follow this route to find 3 trees next to each other. These trees contain rare berries, but also more common ones. There is also another tree close by to these that have the same rarity berries as the Lake of Outrage, but this also needs a water bike. You can raid date skip here until you have a good amount of berries and a decent amount of watts. The watts can be used to buy luxury balls off of the watt traders that are throughout the wild area. You can then sell them off for quick cash to then be able to purchase a decent amount of ingredients. If you have access to Hammerlock or the Isle of Armor, the ingredient seller will be selling different ingredients every day, but you only want to buy the $2,200 ingredients. These being Smokepoke Tail, Boiled Egg, Fruit Bunch, Moo Moo Cheese, and if you're lucky enough, one of these sellers may be selling all 4 at once. If you don't have the DLC, haven't reached Hammerlock, or just don't want to spend money on ingredients and prefer the grind, you can farm fancy apples at the Dappled Grove. They will appear around the trees, and once you've collected them all, you can raid date skip and do it all over again. The best ingredient you can find in Pokemon Sword and Shield is called Gigantamix. This ingredient is quite OP when it comes to making curry. You can reach Charizard class with this ingredient using only 1 berry. Unfortunately, it is a very rare find in raid dens and not very efficient. So let's move on to the next step. Now that you've accumulated all your ingredients and berries, you can now decide which route you want to curry hunt in. Unfortunately, you cannot hunt in the wild area or DLC areas, and you also must hunt alone. This means you are unable to hunt with the NPCs in the routes, as a Pokemon will not come to your camp. Now I will show you the Pokemon that you can find through curry hunting and their encounter rates in each route and game. You may want to pause as I will be going through these quickly. Slumbering Weald, Slumbering Weald higher level area, Route 1, Route 2, Route 2 across the lake, Route 3, Pokemon Sword Galar Mine, Pokemon Shield Galar Mine, Route 4, Route 5, Motostoke Outskirts, Pokemon Sword Galar Mine 2, Pokemon Shield Galar Mine 2, Pokemon Sword Route 6, Pokemon Shield Route 6, Pokemon Sword Glimwood Tangle, Pokemon Shield Glimwood Tangle, Pokemon Sword Route 7, Pokemon Shield Route 7, Route 8, Pokemon Sword Route 8 Steamdrift Way, Pokemon Shield Route 8 Steamdrift Way, Route 9, Route 9 Circhester Bay, Route 9 Outer Spikemuth, Pokemon Sword Route 10 near the station, Pokemon Shield Route 10 near the station, Pokemon Sword Route 10, and finally Pokemon Shield Route 10. Next is deciding which Pokemon you want to curry hunt with. It is recommended you choose smaller Pokemon as it will be easier to spot the curry encounter. You must have at least 2 Pokemon in your party so they can gain sociability and become friends. There are also certain Pokemon that are very much not recommended to have in your party as they will cause a glitch in which you will lose your potential shiny curry encounter. These Pokemon being Salamence, Flygon, Origin Form Giratina, Corviknight, Noivern, Galarian Weezing, Moltres, Steelix, Lugia. There is also a Pokemon that has the potential but is not confirmed to have the same effect, this being Galarian Moltres. If you have the same bug happen to you with a different Pokemon from any of these, please let me know in the comments. When choosing who's in your party, I also recommend picking Pokemon that do not appear in the route so it's less confusing when you get an encounter. Now that you have chosen your Pokemon and route, it is time to start making curry. Favorite your best ingredients by pressing Y, then sort by pressing X, then by favorite, so you have your best ingredients ready to go. Next is to sort your berries by type. At the start, to get used to it at first, just use berries at the bottom, as these are the rarest. Once you feel more confident in your curry making skills, you can start to use less of your rare berries and add filler berries. So you use less of your rare berries and can make more curries each soft reset. But for now, while we practice, we'll just use the rare berries. The first part of making the curry is fanning the flame. You will want to use a single Joy-Con for this process, as using a Pro controller will not let you fan the flame as fast. Hold the Joy-Con like this in your hand and twist your wrist in this motion and do it as fast as you can. Use short and fast movements instead of long full movements so you don't hurt yourself. Once you reach the big flame and start to see black smoke coming off the curry, slow down the fanning movement. Next is stirring. Turn the joystick fast till you see lots of sparkles. You will know you are stirring too fast when you see the curry spill over and your Joy-Cons vibrate. And if you are not stirring fast enough, you will not see sparkles. Last is putting your heart into your curry. Press A when the golden circle reaches in between the middle of the darker green and the lighter green circles. By following all these steps, you should be getting a Charizard class curry every single time. This next part is completely optional, but helps if you don't want to use as many of your rare berries up and you don't have to reset your game as often. First, you'll want to have a good idea of the rarity of the berries that you have in your bag. The link to this spreadsheet will be in the description. For example, my level 10 berries go from apricot to lychee. My level 5 berries go from Rosalie to Ochre, and my level 3 berries go from Tomato to Hondu. Level 1 and 2 berries cannot reach Charizard class by themselves, so these will be considered the filler berries. Each berry rarity has a different minimum requirement to reach Charizard class curries. For example, 2 level 10 berries and 8 filler berries are the minimum. If you use 3 level 10 berries instead with the rest filler, you'll still get Charizard class, but it will be more forgiving if you make mistakes during the curry making process. It is up to you how you want to go about it. For level 5 rarity berries, you'll only want to pick out 4 of them and the rest filler. For level 3 rarity berries, you'll want to pick out 3 filler berries and the rest level 3. Note that by following these berry combinations, you must minimize your mistakes during the curry making process, as you might get a Copperaja class curry. The reason why curry class is so important is because of the different encounter rate each class has. Now, you may be thinking, 5% between Copperaja and Charizard isn't much, but in the grand scheme of things it really is. To reach 4096 encounters, you would need to make 4096 more curries in Copperaja class than Charizard. Making each curry takes around 90 seconds, so you'll be saving around 102 hours just by making better curry. Now, to get any curry encounters, you must meet the minimum sociability depending on your party size. You can only increase sociability if you have 2 or more Pokemon in your team. Eggs do not count as a party member. The best way to reach the sociability requirement is to make Charizard class curries, as each one increases the sociability of every party member by 20 points. Since you need an average of 240 sociability points for 2 members, you will need to make 12 Charizard class curries. For 6 members, you will need an average of 200 points per Pokemon, which equates to only 10 Charizard class curries. Once you have made enough curries to reach the sociability requirement, you can then save your game. The only thing to do now is make curry and watch the encounters roll in. Sometimes you'll get lucky and get multiple encounters in a row, and other times you may get really unlucky and not find an encounter after making over 20 curries. And if you're really lucky like me, you may even get a shiny curry Pokemon under odds. Speaking of odds, the shiny charm does not affect curry Pokemon, so it'll always be a 1 in 4096 chance. One thing to note, when an encounter shows up, it will always be in your field of view, so you don't need to look around the camp after every curry you make. And that's pretty much it. If I left anything out, or if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to answer as much as I can. I hope you all enjoyed this video and feel more confident in doing a curry shiny hunt. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.